following is an ESG 360 video.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian Garrett. I'm the Vice President of ESG Lab, and I'm joined by my colleague Mark Peters, Practice Director and Senior Analyst at the Enterprise Strategy Group. ESG Lab tested DataCore software-defined storage technology back in 2011, before the industry started using the term software-defined storage. We published another report earlier this year that examined the performance and high availability of DataCore configured as a software-defined storage stack in a VMware environment, mirrored to a hyper-converged stack in a Microsoft Hyper-V environment. One of the highlights of that report is the groundbreaking, cost-effective performance boost of DataCore's new parallel I/O technology. So Mark, to put this into market context, why is and why should storage change?
Because it can. There are reasons that you want it to change, but also there is technology in that allowing it to happen, and clearly DataCore is right at the middle of that. So I brought a couple of charts that I'd like to just run through briefly because I think they explain what's going on at the highest level. This first one shows that we have movements towards convergence, software-defined generally, and cloud. And I should make clear that those three are not mutually exclusive. In fact, DataCore can integrate all three, which is crucial. But what's most interesting on this chart is the 9% of people who think it's not going to change over the next few years. And clearly, if we're looking at over the next few years, and 91% of people think it's going to change, it's going to change. And those 9% might be the people who have to change their mind and join in. So we have tremendous architectural changes at the infrastructure level for the way storage is done. Second, number two in terms of drivers around IT and storage is to save cost. The third thing I want to talk about is something which is more about when you said, why should it change? And so here we have a BI analytics group of comments. As you can see on the screen, with BI operations and inquiries, you are processing a lot of data, you're processing multiple streams of data, and storage is seen to be a problem in doing these things, A, because it's slow, and B, because it's expensive. If we just use that as one example of what DataCore is trying to get at, now we can see there's both market shifts and something more specific that DataCore can actually address. So with that said, let me turn it to you now to ask about the technology. What do you think of DataCore's new parallel server capabilities?
It's amazing. What we're doing is taking high-performance computing and parallel computing that used to be the realm of supercomputers and bringing it down to industry-standard servers with really powerful technology. I/O stacks have been bound where one processor is waiting for the I/O request to happen. And in general, the goal is to get all the processors working together and get a pool of storage resources working to a pool of server resources. And the goal is to get all of them working in parallel. If you think of a traffic toll booth during rush hour, and we've got a big jam up during rush hour, there's a couple ways to get that to go quicker. One, if we put transponders on, things are going to go quicker through the lanes. And that's what Flash has done to our technology. Things go quicker, but they can still bottleneck during rush hour.
Okay.
Next thing we can do is add more lanes and get them all working in parallel. And that's really the groundbreaking technology that's going to happen here. And it alleviates the traffic jams, gets more work done quicker, and allows each of those transactions, in essence, the cars going through the lane, to go through much quicker.
Okay, I love the analogy. That really makes sense. But going back to where I was trying to talk about the market, so what might the value of this be? Where could this fit in for a user?
It's actually really, really amazing, the leap in performance capabilities that this parallel server technology has given and the cost effectiveness it has given. This chart actually shows the power of the technology. It's called the Storage Performance Council. It's an industry audited benchmark results. And we're looking at NetApp, an industry leader, one of the top 10. DataCore is actually at the top of the list and has leaped to the top of the list with this new technology. The further to the right and the lower, the better. So the further to right means it can do more, and lower means it can do it faster. And as you can see, the DataCore is way to the right and way lower. It's 7 times more performance and 4 times faster. The real bottom line here is that they're doing it with dramatically less equipment. The NetApp gear was a rack that's as tall as I am. The DataCore gear was just 2 servers that didn't even come up to my knees. Had much, much less flash technology and much less server technology at dramatically less cost. As a matter of fact, it was 28 times more affordable per transaction.
Which of course means that people can do a great deal more. And coming back to everything, at the high level, that's really what we're aiming at here. And what DataCore has hits the high points. It's more efficient, as we see in the cost. It's faster, which is really important for some of those examples for BI and analytics and so on, and many other things out there, databases, even high performance computing that exist in commercial organizations these days. So it hits the high notes of what people want to achieve and is getting it done both efficiently and effectively. IT means information technology, but for so long we've been really talking about infrastructure technology because it's just been hard, to use your toll booth example, to get all the cars through a few toll lanes. And so people are constantly tweaking and changing their engines and changing how many things the toll booth person says to you and so on and so forth. If we can get away from worrying about essentially, now I'm going to mix the metaphor here, but plumbing, and start talking about applications and business value, that's where this plays.
Makes great sense.
And so what I see with DataCore here is that they have two parallel technologies, the parallel I/O that we mentioned earlier, and the parallel server side of things that we're now talking about here. And really here we have two parallel technologies coming together to produce real business value.